Paul has no choice but to leave. Later in town, Paul calls Rose and asks her to keep an eye on Abby since he's worried about her safety. Rose asks if the man in the house is dangerous, and when Paul explains Tim is a robot, Rose freaks out as she reveals Tim tried to kiss her. Paul realizes Tim recorded himself with Rose and edited the video, so he calls Abby to ask her to talk to Rose to get proof of his story. He thinks Abby is agreeing to do it, however it's Tim changing his voice to trick him. Afterward, Tim tells Abby to go for a run. When Paul comes back to clarify things, Tim hits him with a shovel and ties him up before putting him in the tub. At that moment, Rose comes by and notices Paul's suitcases near the door. Tim tells her Paul doesn't live there anymore while activating the bath water. Paul struggles against his bindings and almost manages to escape, however Tim returns to the bathroom and pushes his head underwater to stop him from saying the safe words and eventually drown him to death. Sometime later, Tim brings the repaired dress and convinces Abby to put it on to check it's fine. He tries to peek at her body and makes her nervous, so she changes in another room. When she's done, Tim calls her perfect and Abby feels so lonely that she asks him to hug her. That night, Tim tells Abby he loves her, but she doesn't take him seriously. The next day, Rose tries checking on Abby, who tells her she knows about the affair as she points at the necklace. Rose denies having anything with Paul and explains she was told the necklace was a gift from Abby to thank her for the garden plants. Abby still doesn't believe her, but when she gets home, she has doubts and checks the video again. Tim had told her this kiss happened while Abby was away on a work trip, however the fresh flowers on the screen match the ones on the table now. Remembering Deucen's deep fake technology, Abby decides to call the jewelry shop and discovers it was Tim who bought the necklace while pretending to be Paul. Afterward, Abby sends Paul to town to get some supplies before she goes to check the garden. Under the new flower